Okay, good morning. This is the Church of the Angels. It's an independent, non-denominational, interfaith spiritualist assembly. My name is Rev Jenni Vinecourt, and I am your facilitator today. We'll spend about an hour together, excuse me, with a bit of prayer and sharing and song. You may join us today with just your audio if you choose. Because the service is being recorded so that we can share it with more folks, you don't have to worry about being on the video, on the recording, excuse me, unless you are speaking. And so that way, if you have a question or comment during that portion of the service, if you want to shut off your video, that way just your voice will be on the recording and you won't show up. So that's a good option for you if you choose. I also ask that you keep yourself muted for the majority of the service. And during the sharing portion, if you raise your hand or give me one of the little, you can use the comment or the chat section as well. That way I can call on you to unmute yourself so that we can hear your question or your comment. I want to mention also that if you wish to make a donation, and thank you for that, you can do so through the Church of the Angels website. And you'll also have an opportunity at that time to make that donation a recurring one. I want to give a big thank you to everybody who has donated to help keep us going. We are still paying rent and on a building we're not using as of yet, but we will be soon. So any donations are extremely welcome and we are very grateful for them. Thank you. Join me in an opening prayer, please. Mother, Father, Infinite Spirit, thank you for your blessings on all those joining us today to honor your work and experience your grace and wisdom. Thank you for providing the appropriate thoughts, insights, actions, and all resources for us to gain a better and truer understanding of your love by the words spoken and the healing brought forth here today so that we may lead healthy, happy, and prosperous lives. Thank you for showing us the way to accept responsibility for our lives, and we are grateful to know that you are with us always. So be it. And if you would please join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Thank you. I've asked Lydia to read our statement of principles today. So thank you, Lydia.
Okay, thanks. Okay. There is one creative force of which all life is a part. This one creative force is known by many names and manifestations. We recognize and honor for many names and manifestations of the one creative force, the source of all creation, one in God. The energy of life everywhere is continuous. All consciousness is continuous. Communication is continuous. The energy of life, consciousness, and communication never cease, even after the event that is perceived as death. One creates one's own reality. One creates in harmony with one's creative force, the great power of God, of which all life is a part. Reality is one who chooses to perceive and will change as one grows in knowledge of the inner self and one's relationship with God of his understanding. All things are possible with faith, insight, knowledge, understanding, acceptance, and love. Love is the unifying energy of the universe. Love is the energy of the one creative force, the wisdom of God. All life and all mankind are in the censorship of and healing force of love and with each other. Love is within us and of us. Love is never apart from us. It is we who separate ourselves from the power of love. The force of God works through love and love alone.
Thank you, Lydia. Thank you so much. All right, and now we'll have a few moments of quiet meditation so that we can concentrate on going within to find some peace and some calm and some healing for ourselves and for the world. Anthony, would you give us a little bit of meditation music, please? Take a deep breath in and let it out. Fill yourself with the white light of the highest. Let it fully encompass your body. Thank you. Take another deep breath in and let it out. While still in this space of calm and healing, please add silently or aloud the names of those you wish to include in this healing energy. All right, thank you. And please remember that we are always connected to each other and to the divine. Use this peace and calm to take care of yourselves and all those around you in your communities and throughout the world in whatever way that you can. And now, Anthony, if you would raise our vibration with song before we have our inspiration and thought exchange, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rev. This is a song that I wrote, and it ties in directly with the speaking that I'll be doing today. So I wanted to share it with you guys, and I wrote it during a really transformative time of my life. So um, I hope it comes through clear enough, and I hope you enjoy it. So thank you. I lost all my dreams because I lost belief in me. I gave you all of me. All I had left to do was steal. drank you all the way up, so I could find a way to feel. I'll give you all my love, and found out it was never real. I never loved the right one. I never stayed 'cause I love to run. I can never fall in love with anything if I don't first fall in love with me. If I don't first fall in love with me. As I'm looking back on life, I thought I had everything, but I know I never stood a chance, 'cause I always loved me last. I never loved the right one. I never stayed 'cause I love to run. I can never fall in love with anything if I don't first fall in love with me. If I don't first fall in love with me. I realized one thing. I made a big old mess of me, but now I realized everything, and I'm changing. I'm changing. I never loved the right one. I never stayed 'cause I love to run. I can never fall in love with anything if I don't first fall in love with me. If I don't first fall in love with me. Fall in love. Fall in love with me.
Awesome. That was awesome. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And it did come through. It was lovely.
Great.
And now it's time for Inspiration and Thought Exchange, brought to us by today's speaker. Oh, I see lots of clapping going on and little clap hands on my faces. We do invite everyone to address this assembly with words of inspiration, lessons learned, and ideas. And today, our speaker is our own Anthony Gregorio. And I don't have a bio for him, and that's my bad because I didn't ask him for one. So I'm going to let him introduce himself, and without further ado, let's hear from Anthony. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. This is such an honor for me, and I'm so grateful I have been asked to do this. So I'll give some background on me. on myself. I turned 40 on Tuesday. So in 2 days, I'll turn 40 years old. And so I'm an only child, Italian mama's boy. That's how I grew up. I was a miracle child. My mom had um, 2 miscarriages before me, and then I was born, and so it was almost going. It's obvious that I was going to be spoiled rotten, and I was. And so I had a wonderful home life, but I had a rough time growing up with friends, and so a quick explanation of myself. In first grade, I was 120 pounds. So I was a little butterball with arms and legs, really thick glasses, big square ones. And I remember there was a day where I made a fool of myself and I sneezed, burped, and passed gas all at the exact same time. And I fell out of my desk, which I nearly got stuck in. And everyone laughed at me. And so I realized, though, that I could make people laugh, but at the cost of myself. And so I ran with that for years, a long time, honing in on the skill of making people laugh. But I never cared that I would lose myself in the midst of all that. And I mean, to go further than that, I'm not sure that I could lose myself when I never found myself. I never knew who I was. I spent a long time trying to make other people like me, and if they liked me, then I could like me for that moment. And I never knew the things that I know now. I never knew that if nobody thought I was funny, I could still be okay. And I never knew that it was okay to not be okay. I never knew that people pleasing was a disease. I never knew that attention seeking was a disease. Um, so I was a diseased young person, and I know I'm not alone. Um, I grew up and I got into drugs and alcohol when I was 17, and it's important part. This is like my life, and it's so important for me to express. Um, and after I lost a bunch of weight when I was 20, and I became obsessed with what I thought that I had missed out on growing up. I was always a heavy person, and when I was 18, I was 380 pounds. Um, I have battled with weight loss and the lack of self-love because the mirror would lie to me, and I believed the lies it told me, and I got lost in all of that. And so when I lost all this weight, that's all I cared about was making up for lost time. And I cared about my physical appearance only. I didn't care about anything else but having friends, which was a large group of people because I never wanted to be alone. And I would go everywhere with someone else. And whichever girl that I could be with that would make other people go woo. But in all reality, I wasn't happy because I never knew that happiness and joy comes from somewhere rather than outside. It comes from within me, and I didn't know that. Um, so I got into drugs real bad when I was 27, and from age 27 until uh, 37, I've been to prison twice. I've been to jail over 14 times, and I've been to drug rehab, 26 times. I have been trying to find I've been trying to find myself in drugs, alcohol, women, and food since I was born. Since the first time I ever realized I could think, I've been trying to find myself in everything external. When I went to my first rehab in 2007, my mom tried to give me the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And I remember I didn't want to be sober. I read the book for like 3 minutes and I was like, nope, not for me. And I carried on with drug addiction and girls and food for those for 10 more years. And I found every time I would use again, I would be more sick and more tired and more lonely, more depressed. I had a best friend overdose and die at the foot of my bed. I woke up and he was dead at the foot of my bed, and that turned my entire life around, but I hadn't made the actions yet. I began to see things a little differently. That happened in 2016. When I got to a rehab in 2017, I became interested in spirituality because I thought that I had an understanding of what God was and religion, and but I thought that there was more because Alcoholics Anonymous and treatment centers would teach me about God all the time, but I didn't want to learn their way. I wanted to learn something from me, from myself. So I needed to go deeper. I started asking questions at this place that I was at, and it ended me up in a library looking for another book called Awareness, and I ended up seeing The Power of Now sticking out. The book I went there for wasn't there, but The Power of Now was there. And so I said, I wonder if I can read it now. And I picked it up. I began to read it while I was still in rehab, and my life began to change so dramatically that I have been on this. My search for true self-love and peace led me directly to that book. Eckhart Tolle has allowed me to open myself up to all different types of spiritual and personal growth. And I'm going to read a couple excerpts from the book, The Power of Now, in a moment. Here, I learned that I've been accidentally seeking enlightenment my whole life. Eckhart Tolle describes enlightenment as a state of wholeness or oneness with everything, and therefore being at peace. Enlightenment is also, by the Buddha, named the end of all suffering. And suffering is described as the dreadful enslavement to incessant thinking. Eckhart Tolle runs a question and answer format in his book, The Power of Now. I'm just going to read a few excerpts of the things that changed my life. The question was, what is the greatest obstacle to experiencing this reality? Eckhart Tolle says, identification with your mind, which causes thought to become compulsive. Not to be able to stop thinking is a dreadful affliction, but we don't realize this because almost everyone is suffering from it, so it is considered normal. This incessant mental noise prevents you from finding the realm of inner stillness that is inseparable from being. It also creates a false, mind-made self that casts a shadow of fear and suffering. Someone would ask, you mean stop thinking altogether? No, I can't, except for maybe a moment or two. Eckhart Tolle responds, then the mind is using you. You are unconsciously identified with it, so you don't even know that you are its slave. It's almost as if you were possessed without knowing it, and so you take the possessing entity to be yourself. The beginning of freedom is the realization that you are not the possessing entity or the thinker. Knowing enables you to observe the entity. The moment you start watching the thinker, a higher level of consciousness becomes activated. You then begin to realize that there is a vast realm of intelligence beyond thought, that thought is only a tiny aspect of that intelligence. You also realize that all the things that truly matter, beauty, love, creativity, joy, and inner peace, arise from beyond the mind. You begin to awaken. Another excerpt. How to free yourself from the mind. You have probably come across crazy people in the streets, incessantly talking or muttering to themselves. Well, that's not much different from what you and all other normal people do, except that you don't do it out loud. This voice comments, speculates, judges, compares, complains, likes, dislikes, regrets, and so on. The voice isn't necessarily relevant to the situation you find yourself in at the time. It may be reviving the recent or distant past, or rehearsing or imagining possible future situations. Here it often imagines things going wrong and negative outcomes, also known as worry. Sometimes the soundtrack is accompanied by visual images or mental movies. Even if the voice is relevant to the situation at hand, it will interpret in terms of the past, because the voice belongs to your conditioned mind. which is a result of all past history as well as the collective cultural mindset that you inherited. So you see and judge the present through the eyes of the past. You get a totally distorted view of it. One more part. The most common ego identifications have to do with possessions, the work you do, social status and recognition, knowledge and education, physical appearance, special abilities, relationships, personal and family history, belief systems, and often also political, nationalistic, racial, religious, and other collective identifications. None of these is you. So who am I? It is here that I learned that I must begin to evaluate and question everything that I accepted as truth growing up. Then my concept of God exploded into a realization that I really only know one thing where I thought I knew so much. I know that to me, God is not one thing anymore. God doesn't have a face like someone told me growing up, or a sex. Not to me, it doesn't. God isn't anywhere specific, but that it's everywhere and that it is everything. And that's why when I found this church through meeting Sam, which was also an absolute serendipitous miracle, because if I wasn't searching for a greater truth and to really know who I truly am, if I wasn't on that search, I never would have found Sam, who was also on that search, because I couldn't possibly find somebody who was trying to become whole and loving themselves while I wasn't loving myself, because I spent a lifetime wondering why I always had toxic people in my life, because I was toxic. My outside life is a direct representation of how I feel on the inside and how I view myself. So how could I possibly ever expect to have goodness in my life when I always felt bad, or I was always searching for some false sense of security? I never knew who I was because I thought that, well, geez, I'm 37 years old, I'm 36 years old, I'm 25 years old, I'm whatever age I am far behind in the race of life. Because on Facebook, because social media is so helpful, I would see everyone else with kids, with families, they appear happy, and here's me stuck in rehab for the 25th time, in prison again, looking at myself and feeling bad about myself. When the truth is, those are just consequences of actions that I did. They're not who I am. I am not defined by my past. My past does not hold me anymore to limits. I can be whatever I want to be, and I don't just say that because it sounds good and they told me that when I was a kid. I can create my own reality with conscious manifestation and meditation, and sit down and believe what I want, see what I want, imagine that I have it already, think spirit as though I have it already, and it's coming. It's how I ended up. I just got a promotion at my job at Planet Fitness to become the assistant manager. My manager told me I can become the general manager. That's why they're training me, and then I can continue to grow in there. So I'm multiple time felon, who's been to rehab all these different times. I don't have to be a bartender or server anymore, which is what I did for 20 years because of my felonies. I am beginning to become free, and it's because I believe that I can be. I have not been sober the whole time since I began this enlightenment. I used 2 different times since then. And it's really important for me to say that because I was brainwashed in all the treatment centers to believing that my sobriety is all that matters to me in my life, when I realized that it does not define me. I need it. I need it so that I can further my path. But it does not define me. It's very necessary in my life, but I am more than a sober man. I am light and love, as we all are. I find God in squirrels and trees and the sky, in a wall. It doesn't matter what it is. God is everything and everywhere. I feel like I want to cry. I feel like I've come so far in my life, and I'm not ashamed of my past. I'm not proud of my past. It just is. but it was necessary to bring me to the beautiful moments of revelation and enlightenment and awakening that I have experienced. And what a wonderful time and opportunity to be able to speak and share this with you guys during what people call over the hill. There's no hill. Everything just is. Because I don't know when I'm gonna die, but it ain't gonna be at 80. I don't know when it's gonna be. Over the hill? What hill? No hill. No. Okay. This is a huge moment in my life these past few years, and I have been sober now 5 months, and the time doesn't matter because all that matters is right now, and I'm very grateful for having right now to be able to share it with you guys. And thanks for listening.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you for that wonderful sharing. I've got lots of clapping going on out there. I don't know if you're seeing it, but lots and lots. And I'm sure we'll have some comments as well. I just want to say, firstly, you were talking about the busyness that Eckhart Tolle was talking about, and yeah, in the books that I have read, and it relates to me as monkey brain. That's what I call it, from the Hindi, and monkey brain, and yeah, that's something we all have or can quiet. Monkey brain in order to advance and to heal and to feel at peace. So I'm going to shut up for a minute and look for some comments here. And let's see. Oh, come on. Everybody can't be that shy. Come on. That was an awesome talk. What do we got
Wait,
here?
can I add one more thing?
You sure can.
I forgot to mention how to free my mind. Eckhart Tolle says to start listening to the voice in your head as often as you can. Pay particular attention to any repetitive thought patterns, those old gramophone records that have been playing in your head perhaps for many years. This is what I mean by watching the thinker, which is another way of saying listen to the voice in your head and be there as the witnessing presence. Listening to it impartially, not judging. Soon you will realize there is the voice, and here I am listening to it, watching it. This I am realization, this sense of your own presence, is not a thought. It arises from beyond the mind. That's how I began to look beyond my thoughts. Who am I? I'm the one who is aware that my thoughts are going. That's who I truly am, the vastness behind all of that. And that's why this church fits me so well, because you guys are, whether you say it or not, you're all the same. We all speak the same language here.
Well, we certainly love you, Anthony. We do. All right. Let's open it up for some comments here. Carol Miller.
I really like what you just said, that we're all the same, because it's exactly what I was thinking my comment was going to be before you said that no matter what our path has been or will be, we are the same. And what you said just pertains and reflects all of us on our journey, regardless of where we came from or how we got where we are. It was so deep and so pertinent to all of us. Just thank you so much for sharing that and putting words to what I'm sure we have all thought many times. Thank you so much for a really good, wonderful talk.
Thanks, Carol.
All right, anybody else? Let me flip screens here. Anne Marie.
There, am I unmuted?
You are.
Anthony, I just want to thank you. I admire your bravery to open up to all of us and just like laying your life out on the line. And like you said, so many of us are in the same boat. We've gone through this, and I just feel like there's this transformation with all of us right now. I used to always say, I don't know why I didn't have these thoughts or these desires to learn years ago. Why did I wait till now? And in talking to other people, it was because now is the right time. And the same thing with you. You probably weren't ready for this years ago. But, we've only met through Zoom and through the church, but I have such love for you because you are such a genuine person. I just can see you doing great things. You are such a wonderful speaker. You speak from the heart, and I can see you helping so many other people because of this. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to read a couple of the chats. I don't know if everybody has seen them, and I'll get to you, Brooke, in a minute, and Fran. And okay, hang on one second. Okay, thank you from Lee. Thank you for your honesty and sharing your journey. Maria, thank you, Anthony. As they say, you are preaching to the choir. God bless you. Judy, from Judy, thank you, Anthony, for sharing and being so open with your journey. Very inspiring, and I am with you. From Fran, thank you, Anthony. Tears are nature's way of purging impurities. One day at a time, you can do anything, spirit, and you want to do, you can do. From Vanessa, I think we can all relate to the struggle, though it looks different for everyone. Thank you so much for the reminder of the power of being the watcher. I really needed to hear everything you said today. You are brave and inspiring. From Lee, I have that book. I've never read much of it, but I think it's time. I'll pull it out and actually read it. From Batya, the book is very transformative. And okay, Brooke Mowry, can you unmute yourself and ask your question or mention your comment, please?
Yeah, are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, at least you can hear me. I will first would just like to say thank you for sharing your story with us, Anthony, because I do know how hard that is. And like everyone else said, that is definitely a courageous and brave thing for you to do. While we were doing meditation and prayer, I put my sister's name out there today, and she's actually currently in active addiction and has been struggling. And then so today I wanted to focus on her and the fact that you were the speaker. And and this was actually the first time I was able to attend a Zoom church meeting too. So just another one of those serendipity, yeah, that big long word, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's just another one of those things that you're in alignment with where you're supposed to be. So thank you for sharing that with me, because it does restore faith in for me in her, actually. So thank you.
Thank you, Brooke. Batya, you had a question?
Yeah, forgive me for asking. I don't know the laws in Ohio, but I know it's an issue about whether felons have a right to vote or not. And I just don't know whether you're active on trying to get that law changed, if there is a law against it in Ohio.
You can vote. You can vote in Ohio with felonies, as long as I'm still not currently on probation, which is
well, that's really good, because your story is really. Yeah, well, thank you for letting me ask that, because your story is very moving. It leaves no doubt in anyone's mind, of the necessity, not only of the necessity of that vote,
Awesome. Thank you, Batya. Thank you so much. Let's see. I know there was a friend Dittrich. Did you have something?
I found Anthony's talk very, very informative and interesting, and I think I'm going to buy that book. But what I thought the most about, well, not what it brought to my forefront is that when we do talk to ourselves, it's usually not positive at all. So listening to that voice, I'm kind of confused about that, because he says, Eckhart Tolle, the last thing he read said, listen to that voice, but listen to it impartially. So that's something I think I need to really work on, because what you do is you look at the pile of clothes that you need to fold, and you call yourself lazy because you haven't done it yet, or your dishes aren't done and you're like, when am I going to do those? And there's just or even the part where you talked about going through the past. How many people do you know that relive every experience that they've had? It's like you can hear them talking to themselves, and it's like, well, what are they talking about? And they're talking about a conversation they had, 3 hours ago, and they're talking about whether they said the right things or not, and it was just very thought-provoking. So thank you for your talk. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Right. And Reverend Carol. Oh, B, and you'll be my last one, B. How about Reverend Carol?
Hi, Anthony, thank you so much for sharing. I know that took a lot of courage, and blessings to you for doing that. And I see a great teacher emerging. Blessings to you on your journey, honey.
Thank you.
All right. And B. You have to unmute yourself. Yep. Are you having trouble unmuting? Well, while she's working on that, Anthony, I want to make sure that there are some other comments in the chat box that I want you to make sure that you see. So I want you to go ahead and make sure that you look at those as we close up. Okay, so make sure you get all those happy thoughts and good loving from that chat box. Okay.
Thank you. I'll do that
All
now.
right. Now, B. Beckbar, I'm going to give you. Oh, there you are. You're going back and forth. Oh my goodness. Okay, you're stop. Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. B, can you write it in the chat box? I'll read it. Well, maybe after we're done. Okay, I'm gonna have to cut you off, B, but we'll figure it out later. I'll get you to Anthony. Okay. All right. So thank you again, Anthony, for that wonderful talk. I'm so glad you agreed to speak with us. You moved many of us. I'm gonna bet on you moved all of us. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to move to a little bit of announcements now. And let's see, next week's speaker is Reverend Linda Kupiak. Tomorrow at 7 is our next development circle with Reverend Carol and Reverend Vicky at 7 p.m. That's a virtual development circle. The next virtual thought exchange is Tuesday the 27th at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Next in-person meditation is Wednesday the 28th at 7 p.m. at the church with COVID procedure. Okay, our seance event is coming up on October 29, 30, and 31. We do have seats available, or reservations available on those. It is a virtual event. So please look at the website and or Facebook. And I did send out, the members got an email. If you're not a member, I might not have got to you. But anyway, look from that. If you need more information, give me a call on that. But we do have seats available. Please, if you are a eligible voter, you would have received your ballot via email from the church. Return that to me as soon as possible so we can get those collected and counted for our November 8th annual meeting and election, which I still want you to make sure you come to. We'll hear reports from all the committees and whatnot. Live services, as far as we know, live services are going to begin on the first and third Sundays at the church. With COVID procedures, I do have to set up workers. There's probably about, I don't know, between mediums and healers and usher and doorkeeper, that kind of thing. I do have to set those up ahead of time. So if you want to work, I think I'm set up for November 1st already, but November 15th, we've still got a couple of open spots. And then moving into December, if you want to be a worker, and let me know and we'll put you in there. Okay. All right. What else? I still need one more speaker for the end of the year, actually on Zoom on either November 22nd or 29th. So if you're interested in being a speaker on one of those days, please let me know. And announcements from the floor. I know, Batya, you've got an art class coming up. You want to tell us about that real quick? Oh, you're muted again. Hang on. There you go.
Yeah, We're gonna start off with an hour of sketching the goddess Durga from the Hindu cosmology. She's Durga Ma. And the second hour, if anyone wants to stay, we'll be doing watercolors of the sketches that we drew. And the idea is to get to know the goddess by putting our head inside the culture. And you don't need any experience as an artist. The idea is to get to know the divine feminine by putting her head on our head, so to speak, through pencil and paper. So anybody wants to come, just let me know and we'll work out the details. My email's in the chat box there. So looking forward to seeing you.
Awesome. I am looking forward to joining that class, Pasha. I am. Okay, Dale Miller, you have an announcement.
Yes, if anybody applied and hopefully November 3rd national election, I would encourage everyone to fill them out and send them back in as soon as possible. And there isn't any question about when they were mailed and when they were received. And a couple weeks ago, somebody asked me, well, how do you recommend voting? And I wouldn't touch it, but I gave it some further thought, and what I came up with is that it's very important that we think about where we are spiritually and what that means as to how we should vote and give that our best shot. I think the problem is when people believe one set of things and vote a different set of things. So that's what I would say about that.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you for that. All right, I'm going to take a quick look. Any other announcements from the floor? Let's see. I do not see any. And so, all right, we'll move into some message work. As spiritualists, we believe that the energy of all beings is forever linked and that all of us have direct access to the love and guidance of loved ones, guides, teachers, saints, healers, and angels on the other side. And we do have mediums here that have joined us today who have agreed to be of service and connect up with Spirit to bring forth just a couple messages for us. If I call on you and you choose not to work, feel free to say no. Thank you very much. But I would like to call on Brooke Mowry to go ahead and give us a couple messages if you choose, Brooke.
How did I know that would happen?
Yeah.
I actually, I have a message for you, Jenny, if you're okay with that.
Awesome.
Thing
Thank you so much.
far, though.
Yes.
Just from Spirit altogether, I'm getting the message of step back. Just to, it's okay to let somebody else take over the reins every once in a while. And to have faith that if for whatever reason it's messed up, it's kind of like Bob Ross, little happy little accidents, and then it'll still be okay.
Right,
but that was it. It's just a very brief one. You're welcome. That's all I got.
And that's all you have today? Okay.
Yeah, I'm exhausted from yesterday.
I know she worked all day yesterday at an event, but okay. All right. Reverend Vicki Jones, could you give us one or two, please?
Sure thing. Let's
Thank you.
see. I have one for B. Beckbar. Does she want a message?
Oh, okay.
Oh, there, you're unmuted.
I figured that out.
I'm seeing your father's coming in. He said you made the right decision about things, and he's cleared a path for you to move forward with things. So don't be afraid to move forward in some things you're thinking about.
Oh, yippee dippy.
I'll leave that with you with Spirit's blessings.
Thank you, Vicki. Thank you so much.
Let's see. Fran Dietrich, are you there? I see you're blackened. Would you like a message? Okay. I'm seeing guardian angels with you this week. They're helping you. Your prayers have been heard, and they just want to make sure that you know they're there. And I see some ancestors with you. They're also helping you with some things coming up. So I'll leave that with you with Spirit's blessings. Thank you for letting me.
Thank you, Vicki. Reverend Carol, are you so inspired today? I mean, not Reverend Carol, Carol Miller, excuse me. Are you so inspired today?
Sure, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Emily Jones, would you like a message? Is that a yes?
Yes, thank you.
Hi there, Emily. As I was looking at you, I see a female spirit coming in behind you. It's an older woman, but not real old. I'm thinking maybe a grandmother or mother's spirit, and she's touching in with joy and happiness for you. And she's saying that you're sort of looking at some new things, and she's saying that's good, looking in some new directions. I'm even sensing maybe a little bit more schooling, maybe some classes. And she says yes, the time, she's saying the time is good now for you to do that. She's even saying don't hesitate on starting it, moving forward with it, whatever the next step is right now. And she's just saying that she's proud of you, and just with happiness and joy and love for you. And she's saying just walk your path. And I'm gonna leave that with love and light.
Thank you so much.
You're
That
welcome.
makes perfect sense.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Kathy Galway, would you like a message? Yeah, okay. You know, I'm getting it's kind of vague. I'm also getting, well, more than one spirit for you by a number of people. And they're saying that you've had a few little, nothing bad, just a few little trips here and there recently, but they're saying it's no big deal, that the future looks good. And whatever little things fell in your way recently, you're going to get through it. I get the feeling you're still kind of stepping around, like if you're stepping on stones that are sort of in front of you, but you're going to get through the bumpy part. And these, I'm seeing there. My senses, it's relatives, people they knew, maybe aunties, people in your past coming through, sort of holding your hand as you tiptoe step through whatever you're sort of halfway through. You're going to get through it. They're with you, holding your hands. And I'll leave that with you with love and light. And Reverend Jenni, thank you for allowing me to serve.
Thank you, Carol. And Reverend Carol, since we made that faux pas before, Spirit is telling me that you might have one. And even with Aiden's help, do you have a message?
Let me look. Hold on.
Mom, where are you, Mom?
I don't think he'll be quiet during the whole thing.
It's all right.
I don't think he'll be quiet. Lee, can I come to you? Okay. Let's see, is your father in spirit, dear?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a tall gentleman coming in. Okay. Putting hands on your shoulders and stating he's there for you for support right now. Where'd she go? Wait a minute. Hold on. I kind of lost her. There we go. Okay. You building some things and looking at some new projects you want to get into. He's showing me like a workshop type of thing. He's saying that some ideas are going to be coming to you definitely by Christmas time, and that I see some new things going on as far as personal projects as well as with your house. Okay. And he's like standing behind you going, go for it. Okay. And I see you're finding a lot of introspective time, but you're going to be busy for the next few months using your creative energy. And I leave that with you, with Spirit's blessing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to
Thank you,
serve.
Reverend Carol. Thank you. And I have a real quick one for Cody. Is it Logan? Is the son's name? Did I get that right? It is? Okay. So it's kind of a message for Logan, but I'm going to go through you. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, Cody, is your father in spirit? Because I have a gentleman here. It's on your father's side of the house. It's either your father or your grandfather on that side of the house, and that watches over and sits with Logan often. So if you see, Logan talking to somebody, it's probably, is your dad in spirit?
Yeah.
Okay, because it really feels like it's dad. So if Logan is talking to somebody off in the corner and you're not seeing it, just say, hey dad, thanks. Thanks for hanging out. And he's a lot more attentive. Okay, how is he putting this? He wants me to let you know that he may or may not have been as attentive or outwardly loving, what's the word I'm looking for? He may not have been very demonstrative with that, showing that when he was alive, but he's making up for it now with Logan. And so give thanks to him for that. No matter what your relationship was with him, he's definitely watching out for Logan and kind of playing with him and keeping him occupied. Okie doke. And I'll leave that with you with a lot of love. Thank you. All right. Okay. So I think it's about time to thank you all for your kind attention. And thank you to all the participants and the mediums, and especially to Spirit and the God of your understanding for being with us today and always. For those who may be new with us today, you can learn more about the Church of the Angels at our website, which is www.thechurchoftheangels.net, or you can email us at thechurchoftheangels@gmail.com. I also want to mention, again, just a reminder, if you're eligible to vote and you have your ballot, send that back in to me so I have that, or you can send it to the church email. And if you didn't get your ballot and you're wondering whether you're an eligible voter, email and ask anyway. All right, and now we'll have another song, and then we'll have our closing prayer.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Oh, God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything. Every little thing that I need, and I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. Oh, God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything, everything I need. God gives me everything, every little thing, every little thing.
In closing, let us pray. Infinite Spirit, Mother, Father, God, as we move forward, we thank you in advance for the guidance and resources you always provide for us to live the fullest expression of your love. We pray for all those affected by the circumstances throughout our world. May we be reminded of the opportunities to connect in love to all those around the world, Mother Earth, and the universe. Amen. Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording.